Tell me, what's all this commotion about?
It's the Denton and Sasquatch Show.
This place is half talk show, half weird daycare. I love it.
Reports of strong interference with radio.
Here we go.
Hello and welcome once again to the Denton and Sasquatch Show. My name is Sasquatch, and Mr. Gargly over there, his name is Denton. He's in Alabama, I'm in California. This is where we get together and just shoot the S, if you know what I'm talking about. So, how's it going over there in Alabama, my friend?
You're recording already, are you?
Yes,
Yeah, we shoot stuff. Yeah.
We shoot the breeze.
Yeah, shoot the breeze. Yeah, we shoot anything. Yeah. Hey, what's the weather like there? Because if you can't tell, and you probably can't, but you will as we go along with this, I'm out of it. I'm on all kinds of drugs just to try to keep from being a snot-nosed little brat.
Well, that's going to be too hard.
I mean, this is horrible. It's February, and we've been in the 80s. I'm not talking about like 80. I'm talking about mid to upper 80s.
That's the way I like
Stuff is blooming.
Really?
Pollen is everywhere, mostly up my nose. It's horrible.
Well, we must have your weather then, because it's been cold here.
Oh, I love that.
We got a chance of rain this week.
Cold and rainy?
Yep.
Oh, that makes my Irish blood just tingle. I love it. So what do you know? What's been going on? I mean, I have a couple of three things I'd like to talk about, and it's all about guns.
All right, we'll get into the guns, but first I have to make a quick plea, just in case anybody from Microsoft is listening.
You suck.
Not only that, please, I beg of you, stop changing shit. I mean, just knock it off. Every time I go to my computer, something is either updated or changed, and it screws everything up, and I have to find where it is, and it's impossible to find with Windows 10 because it sucks. Just knock it off.
Bill Gates is the devil.
All right, just in case we had anybody listening that could do something for me, just help me out here. Help a brother out.
And if you need to contact Sasquatch, you can contact him at Denton and Sasquatch. No, Denton and Sass
Show.
What is it?
Let me take care of this part.
Thank you.
If you'd like to contact us, you can do so at dentonandsasshow@gmail.com, or you can visit our new website, dentonandsasquatch.com.
Or you can go to prepperforums.net, and you can find us there. Sasquatch and Denton are there. We're super moderators, and we will ban you in a heartbeat if you're an idiot. Probably not, because we don't even pay attention.
Healthy Prepper.
You think Healthy Prepper's listening to this? I already banned him. He's gone. He's a gone ass, I'm telling you.
No, I just knew there were a few people that get a chuckle out of that. All right, so let's dive into it. I think we got to do a little talking about guns.
Look here, man. I hate the fact that kids are killed.
I
really hate that anybody gets killed. It's just slaughtered for being, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there are some people who direly need to be killed. But the kids in school, leave them alone. Right? But here's the thing. Here's the crazy ass thing to me. Some kids are killed. Okay. And there are 4 deputy sheriffs watching it, not going in. It's kind of strange to me.
Well, it was 1 at first, and then we learned there was, 3 or 4 others?
3 more. Yeah. So it's a total of 4. And so we have this guy who everybody knew about. The FBI even knew about him. He goes to the school in a Uber. Okay, what does this Uber driver think? Here's this guy with he's got a bulletproof vest on. He's got a helmet on. He's got a mask on. You know, he's got a weapon in his hand. So, you've been in Parkland very long? What does the Uber talk to the guy?
I don't think it happened quite that way. I was just reading a little while ago before we started the show. He was carrying a backpack and a duffel bag, so I'm guessing he had everything in there. But the Uber driver said that he was walking towards the school. For forget the word they used, but with authority, sort of. Like he could tell he was walking there with a mission.
He was walking with a purpose.
So he called somebody, whoever the Uber people call, and said, "Hey, this guy just got out of my car, and he doesn't look like he's up to any good." So I guess even they called the police, and nobody did.
So
anything about it.
everybody's calling the police.
Yes.
And so 4 of them show up, and they do nothing. And so these kids get killed. Okay, then afterwards, CNN has set up shop in Tallahassee so fast it'll make your head spin. Mm-hmm. Okay, and they have been pushing the gun control issues since then. It's amazing. And then what's the little kid's name? That one that wants to be a CNN reporter when he grows up, if he ever grows up?
It's like Hogg or Hogue or something like that.
Hogue.
David Hogue or something.
Yeah, so we got this little kid running around going on every liberal site he can go on, every news organization, pushing his gun control thing.
Well, I feel bad for the kid because he
not for him.
Had to be, well, for the kids in general. But as far as he's concerned, he needs the taste slapped out his mouth because I'm getting sick of seeing him everywhere.
Now, I agree. And the rest of the kids,
I do not.
The rest of the kids are just being used.
Yeah, I do not need some 15-year-old telling me how I should live my life. It's like you haven't even learned to wipe properly yet. Once you get that down, then maybe come back and talk to me.
Stop eating Tide Pods, and then you can tell me about the Constitution. I know it's getting kind of old. I know, but really, I mean, these kids have no concept of the Constitution. They have nothing. They are taught by people who don't want them to know anything about the Constitution.
Well, they have no concept of the world either. I mean, the world is a very complex sort of place, and I
don't give a damn about the world.
And, well, I mean, they have no worldview, is what I'm saying. They have no life experience. They don't understand that you can't just rule the world with feels because it doesn't feel good. It's just not. That's not the way it works.
I see what you're saying. Yes, and I agree.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so these kids don't know where they have the right. They don't understand. I have the right to speak my mind. They have the right to speak their mind. If their little feelings get hurt, it's because they're idiots. Okay, if my feelings get hurt, well, first off, I want to know where I got the feelings because I don't have feelings. Okay, so my feelings don't get hurt because I've got them in a box buried somewhere in the backyard so long ago that I don't know anything about them. Okay, I go with logic and reason, period. Okay, logically speaking, there are going to be bad people, period. Logically speaking, you cannot come up with an idea that is going to stop all bad people from doing bad things.
No, but how many opportunities were there to stop this kid from doing bad things? Oh, I don't know. About 50.
But did they?
And nobody did a thing. But they want to ban guns rather than look at the system that failed them.
And isn't it kind of strange that they had all these opportunities to do something, but they did not?
It's very
They
strange.
knew he was going to do something, and he did it. And then while he was doing it, the cops did nothing. And then after he did what he did, he went and got a burger or something at a fast food joint somewhere while CNN was setting up to do all the anti-gun stuff. This is so prefabricated. Does it seem like it's prefabricated to you?
Seems like everything happened very rapidly, that's for sure.
And perfectly.
Yeah, it was the perfect storm of I don't know, crap.
Yeah, it's a crap storm. Pardon me, imperial crap storm. That's heavier than metric, by the way.
I've got a story for a little bit later that to me proves that people like CNN only have one agenda. They don't want to deliver the news. They just want to deliver their agenda. So we'll talk about that a little later. But
okay, well that's a good. We will segue into that in just a second, as a matter of fact, because that's another thing that kind of makes me mad. I know it makes you mad. We were talking earlier. But Rick Scott, governor of Florida, who is a Republican. Now, At prepperforums.net, we have one fellow there. I can't even remember his name. He just pisses me off, but I can't remember his name. He calls people who are third party all kinds of names. You know what I'm saying? He's all about the Republican Party.
Yes.
You know what? I'm a Constitution Party member. Okay, because we stand for let's figure it out, the Constitution, which is something that the Republicans have almost forgotten about. And it kind of pisses me off because if you look at the platform of the Republican Party, it looks pretty cool, but they don't follow it. You know what I'm saying? But here we've got Florida Rick Scott, Governor Rick Scott. He has got some ideas, and I think we should look at these ideas. This is how he thinks that he will fix it where no kid will ever be killed again.
All right.
He says that you have to be 21 years old to buy any weapon, period. What do you think about that?
Well, if you're an adult at 18, I think you should be able to do all the things an adult can do.
So if you can vote at 18, you should be able to buy a weapon?
Well, if you can vote, if you're legally an adult, then yeah, you should be able to do all the things you can do as an adult.
So if they can take away your right to keep and bear arms, or at least procure, because they say you can't purchase a weapon. Now, my son he had a carry permit at 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he couldn't buy a pistol at 18 years old, but I bought him a pistol and he could carry it because he could buy the carry permit, $20, and he had it, bam. Okay, so this isn't really going to change much, but the fact of the matter is, he is saying that you've got to be 21 years old to purchase a weapon.
All right.
Now, shouldn't you be 21 years old to vote, if that be the case? I mean, if they're going to take away your right to purchase the weapon, shouldn't they make it to where you have to be the same age to vote?
Well, if you're asking, my opinion on it, they got to do one or the other. Either everything is 21 or everything is 18. You can't pick and choose as you go. And that goes for voting, that goes for serving your country, that goes for buying a gun. So that goes for buying alcohol, whatever. As soon as you're an adult, you're an adult.
Well, that kind of makes sense. If you can, I'm sorry, I just whacked the heck out of my microphone again. Yeah, if you can buy beer, buy guns, and vote, let's put those three together. Let's do the ATF thing. Okay, if you can't abide by the ATF until you're 21, guess what? You don't get the chance to vote until you're 21.
Well, that'll solve a lot of problems.
Well, I hope so.
Well, not a lot of problems, but
it gives them a couple, 3 more years to start learning a little bit instead of going with their feelings. Now, he also said, this is Governor Scott, he also says he wants to make it virtually impossible for anyone who has a mental issue to use a gun. Now, let's pay attention to the words. Virtually impossible for anyone who has mental issues to use a gun. So what does that mean? Does that mean if I'm batshit crazy and I'm visiting you, you can't say, here, Brian, or Denton, or Bob, whatever my name is, here's an AR-15, shoot here at the range with me while you're supervising me? I can't use a gun? What does that mean?
Well, it's certainly vague.
Yeah, it is vague. Now, yeah, well, that's the way they like it. Now, this is the thing that I've been screaming for a few years now. VA people, veterans who go to the Department of Veterans Administration and say, hey, look here, I'm crazy. I've got PTSD. Give me a crazy check. I've been telling these people, don't do that. It's a freaking trap. You're going to go and get a crazy check, fine, but they're going to take away your right to keep and bear arms, and they will go to your house one day and take your weapons. Oh, they're not going to do that. They have to pry them from my cold, dead fingers. Yeah, that's kind of stupid.
Well, yeah, they're going to pry them from your cold, dead fingers.
Yeah. So now they're saying, he's saying in Florida, if you have mental issues, what is a mental issue? Is it PTSD? Is it bipolar?
Well,
you're seeing spiders crawling on the wall. What is a mental issue?
Well, like we said, it's vague. But my big worry with something like that is, your mother dies and you're depressed for a little while, so you go see a shrink just because you're a little depressed because your mother passed away. Well, now all of a sudden, he's mentally ill now. And it's not like you were going to go shoot somebody up. You were just feeling a little blue. It happens to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And, they can use this to, for nefarious reasons.
What do people do before pills?
Well, that's part of the problem. I think we got too many people on pills. They hand out pills for everything these days.
It's crazy. I mean, depression, negative feelings, sorry, that's just part of life. Get ready to enjoy and embrace life, and the negative comes with the positive. But the other thing he wants to do is ban sale and purchase of bump stocks.
That's just a gimmick.
Well, Trump came with us too. That's the first thing Trump spewed out of his mouth was he wants Sessions to ban bump stocks.
Well, he can't do that, so.
What is that? That didn't have anything to do with the shooting, first off. That gives me a flashback to Ronald Reagan getting shot with a 22 long rifle pistol, if you recall. And what do? They made it where you cannot go to the gun shop, and buy a brand new automatic pistol or automatic rifle. What the hell did that have to do with the current situation? Nothing. Okay, so they're doing something that it's either makes them feel good or is part of an agenda. Yeah, they're not talking about just bump stocks, but anything that will make your weapon, your semi-automatic rifle, go to what appears to be fully automatic.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't do. I believe I'm one of these old-fashioned guys, one shot, one kill types, But if you want to spray and pray, who am I? Okay, if you've got the money to waste that kind of ammunition, feel free to have fun at the range. Okay, but this had nothing to do with the shooting in the high school in Florida. But it's been thrown out there just like the automatic weapons were in 1985-6 era. When Ronald Reagan was shot by a 22 caliber pistol.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if Trump is just trying to make some people happy or say something he thinks people want to hear, but he's obviously making a statement without knowing all the facts.
But the thing about it is that Trump has been good about being the outlaw type. Well, this is the way the politically correct people would do it over here. Then here's Trump going crazy, right?
Well, then again, he hasn't done anything yet. I mean, he says a lot of things.
Well, why doesn't he say the right thing this time? Why does he come out with the politically incorrect, crazy-ass Trump saying, no, as a matter of fact, I'm going to repeal any law that has anything to do with weapons at all. Just go crazy on the other way. Instead, he's going crazy towards the liberal side. And that kind of pisses me off.
Well, I mean, I don't agree with him just deciding that he wants to ban those things. I think that was a stupid comment on his part, but he's also pushing the mental illness side of this, which is really what needs to be pushed. So he's got
so no Democrats can have weapons?
Half right and half wrong. Yes, exactly. Well, that could solve our problem right there. If they do go with this whole, if you're mentally ill, you could never get a gun. All we have to do is convince them that liberalism is a mental disorder, and that solves a lot of the problem right there.
Well, it is. I mean, this cat was sympathetic to Antifa and Black Lives Matter. And the funny thing about it is a dark web forum called 8chan trolled the dumbass liberal mainstream media, saying that he was a white supremacist. And the mainstream media jumped on it, and they said, yeah, well, he's a member of this blah, blah, blah organization in Florida that's all about white supremacy. And at 8chan, they were having such a hoot and a holler which is I don't know, I guess an Alabama phrase, a hoot. They were having a hoot and a holler over the fact that they trolled the mainstream media. It wasn't even true. It was made up as fictitious people. He is not a white supremacist.
Fake news.
He is an Antifa. Fake news, yes.
Well,
now, the other thing, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, if you talk to any kid his age, not all of them, but a vast majority of them, they all think they're an Antifa supporter or a anonymous supporter or whatever, just because when you're that age, you think stupid things like that.
Well, yeah, when you're young, you're stupid.
Yeah, you support idiotic things that you have no clue about.
Now, here's the other thing that irritates the crap out of me. He called for he being Governor Scott, called for a mandatory law enforcement officer in every public school and for mandatory active shooter training for student and faculty. Now, I'm sure you've been reading the news and everything where they're talking about updating and strengthening the security in schools to include fences, barbed wire, concertina wire, locking doors. Okay. In other words, they're making, and a lot of schools are already this way, they're making them into prisons where your kids are growing up in prisons. They're being prepared to live in prisons.
Well, didn't this kid in Parkland go through a door that was normally guarded by somebody who just happened to not be there at the time?
Might have been. I didn't read that, but it sounds. You mean to tell me as if somebody was told to go on break at an odd time?
No, from what I remember reading, there was like a school security guard that was at that door, and he walked outside for whatever reason at that exact time, and he just happened to slip right through. Time. And it's, I mean, you can protect stuff all you want, but if everything's not working properly, something's going to go wrong.
This cat just happened to walk out at the right time for a smoke or whatever, so the shooter could come in.
Well, again, I mean, I read this a few days ago. It could have just been one of those things people are throwing out there, but that's what I thought I read somewhere.
Now, active shooter training. So we're going to have these kids being trained that somebody's going to shoot them. We're in America. Okay, well, and we're going to train our kids.
I was thinking about this the other day. This is the new nuclear bomb tests that we all had to do. Remember, we had to duck and cover, which would do nothing. Stick our heads between our legs and kiss our ass goodbye, basically. I mean, we all went through it, and now this is what they're going through. It's it's the same thing, just a different catalyst.
Now, I was listening to Rick Scott today on Fox News. He has been interviewed by Mike Wallace, and Mike Wallace wanted to know why he'd had a problem with school teachers carrying weapons. And Rick Scott said that he wanted people to do what they did. Teachers were best at teaching, and law enforcement were best at that kind of stuff. So everybody do what they're best at. Really. So what about those 4 law enforcement officers? What are they best at?
Hiding, apparently.
Were they aspiring coaches, gym teachers, like that gym teacher that used his body to shield his students from bullets and he died? Well, what is that gym teacher really best at? I'm sure he's a good gym teacher, but you know what? He was a better lifesaver. There
was another guy there that was, I guess he was an off-duty cop, and he was off-duty, but he was there helping out with the baseball field, doing some work on the baseball field. And as soon as it went down, he went and found SWAT and got one of their, identified himself, got one of their flak jackets and one of their extra pistols and went in. And this guy's wearing shorts and a T-shirt.
No, there's a hero.
And then these other 4 Broward County guys just standing around with their fingers up their nose. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
That seems so conspiratorial to me. We have Sheriff Israel, who is a gun control nut, who loves Hillary Clinton, and his 4 little buddies who didn't go in there while the kids are being killed, and now everybody's yelling gun control. Well, I'm not giving him no, you're not getting my guns, pal.
Well, and I'm kind of curious, since he gets to make the decisions on, tactics and what they do. I mean, maybe his rule is if something like that happens, you wait outside. Maybe those guys wanted to go in, but maybe his rule is you wait.
Who cares about rules?
Well, I agree, but, I'm just saying.
I mean, there is active shooting. Yes, okay, if there's a situation going on where it makes sense to set up a perimeter, yes, fine, that makes sense. But when somebody is shooting in a school, what kind of policy would say, don't go in while you're hearing the shots, and every shot means a dead kid? Don't go in, set up a perimeter.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Maybe he needs to be investigated for his policies.
He needs to be hung.
Cut out the middleman, huh?
Yeah, well, give him a fair trial. I'll give him that. Then hang him. Okay. Hey, do we have any happy news?
Well,
because this all this stuff just irritates me, because the whole thing is all about taking away our Second Amendment right. Now, once you take away your Second Amendment right, all your rest of your rights are gone, because the only thing that stands between us and tyranny is our Second Amendment rights. Does that make sense? I mean, I think it makes sense.
Well, that's why it was written in there, to protect all the other rights.
Right. And the people don't understand that there was a contention over which one was going to be the First Amendment. Some wanted the Second Amendment, well, not just we weren't going to call 2, then 1, and 3, and 4, but the right to keep and bear arms to be the First Amendment, because that was the amendment that would protect all the rest of the amendments. But the other bunch said, no, we need the right to free speech, religion, and press, because that is what we're all about.
Well, that was what
the right to keep and bear arms is just going to protect that. So we need to have that, the First Amendment. So, and that's the way that happened. And a lot of people don't understand that, have never read that, and it's never taught. But I think it's kind of important.
Well, big surprise there that it's never taught, huh?
Yeah, I'm telling you. So happy news. Give us some happy news.
This isn't really happy news, but it sort of piggybacks on your Florida governor rule, or rules that he wants to implement. This comes from NBC News. It's out of Shelbyville, Indiana. Tucked away in central Indiana, there is a high school that carries the distinction of being called America's safest school. Students and teachers at Southwestern High School undergo practice drills, and the building is equipped with automated lockdown features. Cameras in the school are wired directly to the local sheriff's office. Each classroom has red lines that mark spots in the room that can't be seen from the door. Every teacher has a box with a personal panic button. NBC's Jeff Rosen went inside the school for a demonstration of what the system was capable of. As Rosen walked through the halls, the sheriff's office tracked his every move. Every door was locked. When he approached a hot zone, smoke cannons hidden from the ceiling managed to disorient Rosen. The system cost around $400,000, but the administrators say it's worth it. So there's one option for trying to keep kids safe, I guess.
Indiana is like the center of America. I mean, how much more America can you get than to be in Indiana?
Well, and it looks like, they're sort of on the forefront of trying to keep kids safe.
But how many times do bad things go down in Indiana? I mean, I realize that Indianapolis has gone to hell in a handbasket. I know this. I have friends in Indiana. But is it really necessary to spend that kind of money?
Well, and this is my thought on this entire thing, not just Indiana or Florida or anything. People die in other ways far more than what happened in Parkland, but now everybody's making this big push that we got to do something about this. Well, I don't want to say why, because we all want kids to be safe, but it's just, it blows my mind that everybody's making such a big deal out of this when there's so much other death going on around the country for different reasons.
Chicago, Detroit, handguns. What's going on in Chicago, Detroit that's causing so many people to be slaughtered every year? Well, a lot more than what happened in Parkland. But then again, what happened in that guy's mind that caused him to go and kill 17 people? Well, what is going on in the country?
I forget exactly what the statistic is, but isn't it like less than 2% of these shootings are done with a rifle? It's usually a handgun.
Usually handguns, yes.
And everybody's flipping out about rifles all of a sudden.
because they're being told that the rifles, the evil AR-15, must be taken away from us. And it's been told everybody this by what CNN, MSNBC, these kind of places you go to and you hear nonstop, the AR-15 is evil. Really? I've got one of them. Look, I could take my AR-15 and my AR-10, and for those of you who are not gun nuts who are listening to this, AR-10 is bigger bullets and they hit harder. Okay, I could take my AR-10s and my AR-15s and put them in my bedroom, and they would never kill me or anybody else. I keep them locked up because people might take them. So is it the rifle or is it the people? It's not the rifle, it's the people. So we need to start concentrating on the person, not the rifle. How do we fix the person? Well, I don't know. Lock them up. Give them some happy pills somewhere else. We have psychiatrists. Fix that if it's a mental problem. But most of this stuff is spiritual. Stop making it where we can't talk about God. Put God back in elementary schools. You got to start them early. You got to start elementary school. You got to teach them what right and wrong is. Laws of nature, nature's God. I always say that in every episode of these podcasts. Laws of nature and nature's God. Ethics, morals, and principles. That's what will make this country better. Not taking away our rifles. That's insane. Because if you're anti-gun, you're not anti-gun. You're anti-me having guns. Okay, you all of a sudden think that the government is moral and righteous and pious and they are perfect and they should have weapons, and they're not. Because as we see throughout history, the government always wants to do what to the people? Subjugate them.
Disarm them and subjugate them.
Exactly.
Well, we have to look no further than Venezuela to see what what the outcome of that is.
I feel so sorry for those people. They are starving to the point where cannibalism is ruling the day. And they can't even go after their politicians because they've been disarmed.
You were talking earlier about CNN swooping in there and MSNBC and all them with their agenda-driven stuff. Now, this right here proves to me that this isn't about saving kids' lives. This is about pushing an agenda. A 21-year-old illegal immigrant who was allowed to stay in the U.S. under the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program, was arrested last week in Rochester, New York, for making terrorist threats against students in a high school, officials said. Abigail Hernandez was arrested and charged for the threats against East High School and was reprimanded to the Monroe County Jail in lieu of $15,000 bails. Hernandez, who is not a student at the school, was moved to a federal detention center and will be held there until a hearing is scheduled. There is a lot more to that story, but basically the reason I wanted to put that out there is because that's from Fox, and I searched Google a couple times trying to find that same story, and zero, except for Fox, were reporting that story.
Yeah, that reminds me of something else. I mean, I'm not a big Alex Jones fan. I get tired of his gravelly voice, and it's always me, and I'm the hero, and I'm the savior, and everything. But his butt's in danger of being kicked off of YouTube. Really? Why is that? Yeah, because of the shooting coverage he's been doing.
Oh, really?
He's going of course he's going anti-establishment, and so YouTube is about to kick him off. He's already had 2 strikes, 1 more strike, and InfoWars is gone. So that kind of ties in with this. They're suppressing not just our Second Amendment, but our First Amendment right to speech by making it to where you want to find information, you go to Google, you're not going to find it.
Well, there was also that video of that Hogue kid. It's titled that he's messing up his lines because he keeps forgetting what he wants to say while he's being interviewed. Yeah. And, who knows? Maybe he's in shock, or maybe he did have lines and he was forgetting them. I don't know. But that video has been taken down. So
now, why would they take that down unless they're trying to push one narrative and they're not going to allow any other narrative to be aired on their platform?
Well, that's exactly why they took it down.
So that's corporatism. I think there's a word for that. It's not capitalism. It's corporatism. There's an oligarchy. What is the word when corporations are running the country?
Good question.
Okay. Anybody has the answer to that? Contact us at dentonandsasshow.com. No, not Gmail. What is it?
dentonandsasshow@gmail.com.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hey, since you brought up the corporations, why don't we talk about all these companies that are ditching the NRA?
Oh, my goodness. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah. I'm not going to ever rent a car again.
Well, what was it? Budget? Was it Budget Rent-A-Car? Was that the one?
Budget, Enterprise. Hold on. I'm trying to find someplace real quick here. It won't take long. Gone to Steve Coel's place. I know he's got it.
Really, I'm hoping everybody that does support the Second Amendment supports the people that are not jumping ship from the NRA.
We're not going to jump ship from the NRA because some jackasses don't give us a 10% discount when we rent a car.
No, I'm just saying all the companies that are not kowtowing to this, new liberal push to give a bad name to all the companies. All these companies that are sticking around, we need to support those companies.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, well, here's some companies that I'm not going to support anymore. Simply Safe.
All right.
Okay, you know what? I'll be simply unsafe. Enterprise, Budget, Hertz, Avis. Okay, in other words, I cannot rent a car ever again. That's fine. I like my new car. I'll drive it. And if I wear it out prematurely, guess what? I'll buy another car. Kiss my ass. Budget and Enterprise and Avis and all the rest, yes. Oh, yeah. Who else? Well, you know what? I posted this on Prepper Forums. Let's go to prepperforums.net. Yeah, let's give a list of these people that are jackasses that are going against us.
I think your antihistamines are starting to kick in.
They've been kicking in. Why? How do you know?
You just sound tired all of a sudden.
Well. I am speaking English still, aren't I? Because if I'm not, I'm screwed because I don't know any other language. Okay. Hertz. Well, okay. All of the car rental places. Chubb, whatever Chubb is. MetLife. We're talking Snoopy here, for crying out loud. Symantec, whatever that is. Teladoc. Simple Safe. Best Western. Look, I used to drive trucks, okay? Everybody knows that if you're a man, if you're a real man, you stay at a Best Western. Well, not anymore because they are no longer supporting the National Rifle Association. Wyndham Hotels, Alamo Rental Car, National Rental Car, Enterprise, First National Bank of Omaha, Nebraska. That is America. You know what I'm saying? But the First National Bank of America there, of Omaha, is turning their backs on the NRA. Well, you know what? Kiss my ass. Now, who else? There's some other people here. Put some stuff here. Somebody. And, of course, Teladoc. Roby at prepperforms.net. He gave everybody the contact information to send their nasty grams to all these corporations.
Well, everybody can look online and find out who it is if they really would like to know, so they can.
Yeah, but there's a lot. There's corporations that are turning their back on America, and the National Rifle Association. I was a member of the National Rifle Association when I was 16 years old. Okay, it's not some kind of terrorist organization like Antifa.
I just wonder if these companies would do the same thing if all of a sudden, say they wanted to take away the First Amendment. Would they be like, oh, well, all right, well, we'll back that?
Well, absolutely not. They're not doing anything about that. When we just discussed, they're taking away our First Amendment because of corporatism. These corporations are telling us what we can and cannot say. If you don't say the right thing, they will kill your account. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. They're against us. if you're an American, if you believe in the Constitution, if you believe in God, you will be silenced by these people if you speak too loudly. Hello?
No, I got you.
So, we are being attacked on every side. And it just seems to me that we're getting closer and closer to the point where we're either going to stand up or we're going to lay down and roll over. Now, I'm too old to lay down and roll over, because if I do, I'm not going to get back up. So I might as well stand up and fight.
Hey, I did find this one small little article here about smells. One of our senses we often ignore unless there is something particularly pleasant or gross in the air. However, your nose knows more than you think. For example, did you know that a study was done that shows people deemed to be ultra high risk of developing psychosis, and found that those that went on to develop schizophrenia rather than other forms of psychosis also displayed the inability to identify smells. So maybe that's a way we can pinpoint all these crazies.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of disturbing. The lady I work with every day at work, 5 to 6 times a day, she's had some odor issues where she can't smell the flowers that she can normally smell. Does that mean she's going schizophrenic? She's going to kill me when I'm least suspecting it?
Well, according to this study, it's very likely.
Oh, wow. That's a shame, because I've given her so many opportunities to kill me and so many reasons, because I'm such an amicable guy. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sure you've given lots of people lots of reasons.
I know. But, oh, my goodness. So if you start losing your sense of smell, go see a shrink quickly before you kill somebody.
Yes, so they can take your guns away.
Yes. Well, do we have any truly happy news?
I didn't find anything truly happy. I was going to say, I don't think this is something we're going to be able to solve in, 50 minutes, but it's definitely something we need to keep on our radar and keep discussing.
Well, we will certainly continue to discuss it. But as far as I can figure out now, do you drink, Sass?
As much as I can.
Well, I have to admit that I am against drinking. I believe that drinking leads you to do wrong things, like getting married. Kidding. Anyway, what I'm saying is the world is so jacked up. The only thing I can say is we are doomed. I mean, truly doomed in this country. So what should we do?
I think we should drink up.
Good night.
Last day of the rest of my life, I wish I would have known, cause I didn't kiss my mama goodbye. I didn't tell her that I loved her, how much I cared. I thank my pops for all the talks and all the wisdom he shared. Unaware, I just did what I always do. Every day the same routine before I skate off to school. But who knew that this day wasn't like the rest? Instead of taking the test, I took 2 to the chest. Call me blind, but I didn't see it coming.